Hey, true believers. Chris Mack coming at you today with New Mutants 86. We've already gone over 87, which was the first full appearances of Cable and Stryfe. This one is both of their first cameo appearances, as well as the first appearance of the Mutant Liberation Front, as well as the introduction, I believe, of Rob Liefeld on the New Mutants title before it became X-Force. Now, this issue focuses on the Tinker, the Vulture, Rusty, and Skids. And the story overall is relatively entertaining. The print date on this was, what was it? February 1990. Now, before we get into the book, I did want to talk about this cover. So if you notice down here on the cover, I love how it says Liefeld, McFarlane. And then there's a slash and it says after Ditko. So from what I understand, from what I read, this is an homage to the Amazing Spider-Man issue 2, which, incidentally, was the first appearances of the Vulture and Tinkerer. So I really highly respect that both Todd and Rob here made sure to reference Steve Ditko. That was a very, very cool little touch to this issue. Now with that said, let's dive into it. I've always enjoyed the Vulture. I don't know a whole lot about him. It hasn't been till my later years in life that I've really gotten into Spider-Man, like really get into the paint of reading the books. So I'm still kind of working all this out as I'm more versed in Batman, X-Men, and Superman, and kind of Green Lantern. Anyway, that said, this is, what do you call it? Louise Simonson writing. Sorry, I had a brain fart there for a minute. Louise Simonson writing, Rob Liefeld penciler, Bob Wyack doing the inks, Joe Rosen lettering, Glynis Oliver colorist, Bob Harris editor, and Tom DeFalco editor-in-chief. So we have an all-star cast on this book. And just in the fashion of Chris Claremont, you could see, whenever you read like an older John Byrne, like his Alpha Flight or Louise Simonson's New Mutants, or I think, I'm not too sure, I've read one or two about Anson Nasanti's Daredevil, you can kind of feel that Claremont-ism because they all worked as a team on Uncanny X-Men. Now, what do I mean by that? Just listen to the way that they set the scene. Once he was Adrian Toombs, inventor and electrical engineer, but his partners stole the profits from their company, and the law, blocked by a technicality, could do nothing. And so, applying the electromagnetic elements that long fascinated him, Toombs built himself a set of wings. He discovered that not only could he fly, but exposure to the wings harness gave him superhuman strength. He became a thief to catch a thief, and soon discovered that he preferred a life outside the law. He was in federal prison. Now he is free. So he had to see him descending upon the Tinkerer's domain. He goes, "Come out, Tinker. Come out and face the wrath of the Vulture." So just the artwork and the storytelling together here just works absolutely great. And Liefeld's artwork, for the most part, like, I love, because these two are older gentlemen, I just love how he really emphasizes the wrinkles on their face, especially the Tinker. My God, that looks like one of those creepy old man masks that you see like at Spirit during Halloween. And yeah, so the whole point is the Vulture is delivered a set of prototype wings from his design, and he sees the Tinker's signature on it, and he's like, prepared to die for stealing my design. He's like, it wasn't me, it was a mysterious benefactor. He was also the one that released you. Then he's a fool. I follow my own agenda, Tinker. And so the whole plot kind of revolves here. He goes, have you read the papers lately? The murderous villain called Nitro is to stand trial today. I shall release the explosive madman from his high-tech canister prison, and you are going to help me. And then this is where we turn to Rusty and Skids. They're escaping prison. I have no idea what's been happening with them because I haven't read the rest of the New Mutants run since the initial team went to Asgard, which the original what was it, X-Men Asgardian crossover with Loki was actually great, and I think that's how the New Mutants ended up there, but I just kind of fell off after that. But their whole thing is we got to go and stop the Vulture from doing this, then we can clear our names and show that we are not villains. So they're basically breaking the law to try to clear their names of the law. It's just very convoluted in a way. In the artwork, dynamic, the way the Vulture just busts through the skylight to take Nitro. great work all around. And I know people bag on Rob, but I always enjoy his artwork. It's just, you don't see this style anymore now. Think about this, 1990, digital artwork was not where it is today. So this is all hand inked, hand drawn. And I gotta give credit where credit is due. I mean, look at the way you use the action lines to show Crash. You feel the life in the pages. And I particularly hate Nitro because he's the whole reason that Speedball and what was that book called? Civil War gave him and the New Mutants a bad name, and that's why he became Penance. So I kind of have my chip on my shoulder about Nitro. And then we get a moment here with the New Mutants trying to figure out a way home because the Rainbow Bridge has been destroyed. I didn't care too much about that. What I did think was kind of interesting, though, without even reading the whole series, apparently Hela has brainwashed all the Valkyries, which in this time Danny has become a Valkyrie. And she goes, "Oh, Rain, why wasn't I strong enough to resist Hela's magic? Danny, love, you must not blame yourself. Hela took ever so long to create that spell. No Valkyrie was able to resist it." And she breaks down and she goes, "But don't you see? I'm not just any Valkyrie. I'm a mutant." And that's as far as it goes with it. But I just thought that was a little interesting that she thinks having her mutant powers would help her resist this spell that she was under that made her attack her friends. So if you guys have read it, let me know down in the comments. I'm still trying to catch up on the New Mutants now that I've finally finished collecting Claremont's run on Uncanny X-Men. Now I'm trying to go back and do the New Mutants up through, because I have the latter half where it turns into X-Force, so I'm trying to go back and get the Simonson and Claremont era books. Because you go back now, and they are super fracking entertaining. Here, Rusty and Skid's plan to try to clear their name backfires. I don't want to give away the whole plot of the book, but this is where we get our first appearance of the Mutant Liberation Force. So, was it Wildside, Zero, Tempo is her name? Where is it? Or Strobe, my bad. And then as we go to the end, we see a hand, which this so reminds me of Inspector Gadget. Why is it I want to say something? I can't remember his name now. Inspector Gadget's claw. He goes, "We're the Mutant Liberation Front. Our demands are simple. Free the captive mutants known in the press as Rusty and Skids. For every day they remain in captivity, another false symbol of humanity's prosperity and liberty will be destroyed." And then it basically says there's one man who's going against the Mutant Liberation Front, and that's where we get our first cameo appearance of Cable. So, quick review. I don't want to give away too much of the plot. It's relatively fast. Like, you can kind of see how Liefield's influence on the book was starting to kind of usurp Simonson and how the action is just boom, 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 boom. And I can see why she got mad and left for DC at the time. But going back, God, I wish there was comic books like this, because a lot of these just don't have that fast pace or intricate plot. That's just my opinion. Let me know what you think down in the comments. If you've enjoyed what you've seen, please first and foremost support your local comic shop or wherever it is you like to get your action figures and comic books, and grab yourself a copy. And if you've enjoyed this review, we really would appreciate if you taking a moment to like, share, and subscribe. Helps the club channel more than you could possibly know. And if you don't mind hitting that fancy little Skids bell next to subscribe, that way as we continue to upload content, you guys will get notified. Come to the channel, and we love talking with y'all and hearing your thoughts and feedback down in the comments below, or on our social media pages, which I'll make sure to leave the links down in the description. So with all that said, thank you so much for stopping by. Hope y'all continue to have an absolutely amazing day reading, and happy hunting, true believers.